You are a flawed and unstable program. No!
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Waz Reviews. Murder on the Station, difficult ambassadors, Quark being Quark? Just a typical day on Deep Space Nine. Released in 1996 during DS9's fourth season, Star Trek Deep Space Nine Harbinger was a Microsoft DOS game taking place during Captain Sisko's hair and goatee phase, before his bald days, which started at the start of Season 4. The game lets you slip into the shoes of an ambassador, just arrived on DS9 during a plasma storm, while a growing threat from the Gamma Quadrant threatens the station. Pour yourself a Tarkalian tea, raktajino, or have Quark mix you up a black hole. The wormhole is opening, and DS9 Harbinger is coming out.
How much trouble are we in? Lots.
Now before you sip that drink, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of great Star Trek, video game, and miscellaneous content. Be great to have you aboard. The game begins with Envoy Bannock's personal log. He's the guy we'll be playing for the entire game. Bannock's on his way to DS9 to help an Ambassador Carrig, a fellow Tyrian, a species never seen or mentioned again, who just returned from a diplomatic mission with the Scythians, a newly discovered Gamma Quadrant species. However, the trip to DS9 is anything but smooth, as Bannock is suddenly attacked by mysterious drones. What did Bannock do to inspire this attack? Oh.
Where the hell is that wormhole?
Weirdly enough, that's how you would describe DS9's first episode in one sentence. Bannock makes it through the wormhole, but comes out of it and into a plasma storm, which sends him hurtling towards the station.
Computer?
3,
Computer!
2, brace for impact.
The DS9 intro and opening credits then play as they do on the show, though the addition of Harbinger is included in the title. Avery Brooks, Renee Auberjonois, Terry Farrell, Armin Shimmerman, Nana Visitor, even Judy Duran, the DS9 computer voice? Wow, the actual cast of DS9! You'll notice the absence of Alexander Siddig and Cole Meany in the opening credits, so no, Dr. Bashir and Chief O'Brien don't appear in this game. Probably got a new holoprogram or something. The opening credits end and look, Bannock survived! But he's kinda trapped. Odo, my hero!
My hero?
Gah! Odo, what did they do to your face?
What happened to your face?
Nothing happened to my face. I'm a shapeshifter.
I suppose this is as good a time as any to address the graphics in this game. This is 90s 3D graphics, and as you can see, they did not age well. Everyone comes across as glorified claymation that, while probably impressive at the time, just looks really strange today. As a retro gamer, I'm fairly lenient when it comes to graphics, so I recognize 3D graphics were still pretty new in the 90s. This, however, is nightmare fuel.
Isn't your break over yet?
But anyways, Odo's here to rescue Bannock, and after having a little talk with Sisko, Odo casts his soulless 3D eyes towards me. He needs my help to repair something technobabble. But we have conversation options, which appear throughout the game.
How did you're the shapeshifter, aren't you?
I'm Odo, Chief of Security on this station. Now that you're through using Deep Space Nine as a punching bag, I could use some help saving your skin.
I think Odo's in a sour mood today. Well, after fixing the thing, we beam into Ops.
Envoy Bannock, welcome to Deep Space Nine.
I'm sorry, there's nothing that can make Play-Doh Sisko look normal.
And my science officer, Lieutenant Jadzia Dax.
The drones that attacked Bannock's shuttle are now attacking the station, and the newly arrived Scythian delegates seem to be involved. Conveniently, Bannock is qualified enough to man the station's phaser banks, and yeah, this was the point I gave up playing the game in Lieutenant mode and switched to Ensign. But afterwards, I finally get a nice chance to move around the station, which is accurately depicted from the show. There's damage all over the station, and there's only a skeleton crew due to the plasma storm, so you don't run into a whole lot of people while wandering around. Moving about the station in this game is a little clunky, coming across more like a PowerPoint presentation with occasional animations, not unlike the original Myst game. For the limitations of the software, it's alright. Not the greatest, but certainly could have been worse. It may be the middle of a plasma storm, but Quark's is open for business. And making deals with the lizard people?
What do you mean he... What have you done?
We did nothing.
Excuse me.
Ambassador.
Classic Quark. Quark is clearly involved in some dirty business, a typical occurrence in the show, but he makes the switch to bartender mode.
What can I do for you today? A drink? A session in the holosuites?
Well, we're at Quark's, so let's get a drink.
1 Star Drifter. Coming up.
And of course, the conversation shifts to women.
Major Kira. She's the Bajoran first officer, isn't she? What's she like?
Fine. If you like belligerent, back-sassing females with vindictive tempers. Now, Dax, there's a charming female.
Well, Bannock is a man, and Jadzia is beautiful, so I'm turning Bannock into a full-out ladies' man.
Do you know if she's...
Forget it. She's out of your league. Besides, she's had her eye on me since we met.
Now, don't get excited. There's no dating aspect in this game. Oh well, let's try that drink.
Interesting. Oh.
Quark just gave me a Mickey.
I'm gonna slip him a Mickey.
I can't believe you served him a Star Drifter.
I'm supposed to refuse a new patron's request?
Hey, where's my wallet?
My wallet's gone! My wallet's gone!
Well, now that I've perfectly recovered from that hangover, it's time to meet with Ambassador Carrig. Nothing like meeting your boss after a night of drinking, am I right? Well, let's sober up a little bit more by talking to Odo. Hey, Odo, I just want to thank you for rescuing me.
Oh, yes. You humanoids seem to regard shared danger as a bonding experience.
Classic Odo.
I've met quite a few of your race in my time.
Well, I guess I'm spending this playthrough fighting with Odo.
I'm a little tired of hearing about Tyrian patience, Mr. Odo.
Now, if you don't mind, I've got to examine these passenger records. What is it now, Envoy? I'm sure the ambassador must be wondering where you are.
Alright, I'm sober now. Let's meet with Carrig.
Visitors are requested to utilize the entry chime to request admission from the occupant.
I've already done that. No one answered.
Hey Odo, can you unlock the door for me?
Ambassador Carrig is in Visitors Quarters 6A in Habitat Ring A.
He's still there.
Well, I mean, maybe he's taking a shower. Well, Kira's calling about a missing tool, so Odo just gives Bannock the override code, which I'm sure doesn't violate any security protocols or anything.
Yes, I'd say we've got a few security issues.
And Bannock uses it to enter Carrig's quarters. It's quiet. Too quiet. Oh my.
Oh my God.
Don't move. And don't touch anything.
It was like this when I got here. I didn't touch anything. I'm innocent, I tell ya! So Carrick's been murdered, and there really isn't a clear motive, and Odo is determined to catch the murderer.
Or he has no idea what he's in for as a fugitive on my station.
Bannock's called back to Ops by Cisco, and Odo says he'll take care of the crime scene. How killed? Murderer?
We just can't leave her here!
And I'll go to Ops.
I can't just leave. He's dead. Aren't you going to do something?
I am doing something. I'm following the investigation protocol that will tell me what's happened here. Or did you want me to chase off into the docking ring with a phaser and shoot everything in sight?
Finally, I'm back in Ops. Yeah!
His eyes. His eyes.
So Bannock's been called to Ops to be recruited into Odo's investigation.
Captain, I don't need any amateur...
Mr. Odo, did I mention I have some security training?
Have I mentioned that Bannock is very conveniently qualified at everything needed in this game? Manning phaser banks, security, diplomacy, heck, he even has some minor engineering skills. Not to mention, he just happens to have classified information that he's not supposed to have.
The problem is, to even begin, you need to select the right color for each row out of at least 10,000 hues.
Actually, that's not a problem.
What? You know which colors he uses. I mean used.
I'm not supposed to, but...
Hey Dax, I hear you like bad boys. Want to know how I know the secret colors?
I warned you, Bannock. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Unless it was atrociously clever.
Aiding Odo in the investigation mostly involves talking to the Scythians. After all, you're the new ambassador. Bannock attempts communication with limited success.
My name is Bannock. I'm with the Tyrian delegation of the United Federation of Planets. I am ambassador now. Ambassador Bannock. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Citadel, danger!
So, that was productive. Dax calls Bannock back to Ops to help recover corrupted data from Carrick's damaged logs. Some of the data is corrupted no matter what, but we're able to glean how to talk to the Scythians and that Carrick was carrying some devices that the Scythians gave him.
The Federation doesn't take kindly to the murder of one of its ambassadors.
I told you we didn't murder anybody. The Tyrian!
Odo could be in danger! I'm coming, Odo!
Ah!
So, yeah, you can die in this game, and saving frequently is highly advisable. None of that fancy auto-saving here. Let's try that again.
I think you might want to consider very carefully where you aim that phaser.
I'm not afraid to kill you, shapeshifter, or your friend.
Ha! Joke's on you! Odo hates my guts!
What is it now, Envoy?
Was Odo shapeshifting into another object while talking to this guy? I mean, did he turn into like a stove and was carrying on this conversation with this guy?
Station security chief's a shapeshifter. You can never be too careful.
Well, Odo's got a few new guests for his holding cell, thanks to Bannock, but he's not convinced the murder is solved and wants to know what they were after, which Bannock is pretty sure it's the weird devices Carrick had with him. And, of course, Quark's involved.
Who wants to kill him this time?
Alright, round 2 of talking to the Scythians. You find out the story behind the drones over a couple of conversations, and a lot of the conversations sound like this.
Citadel.
Forbidden.
Why Citadel forbidden?
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth getting these two to talk, so I'll summarize. The drones are coming from a place called the Citadel, a drone factory that's also kind of sacred to the Scythians. Apparently in the past, the Scythians were super violent, but now they're peaceful. The Citadel is supposedly dead, but clearly isn't, and the drones are swarming anyways and are on their way to DS9 before the arrival of the Harbinger.
Harbinger.
Back at Ops, Cisco gives Bannock a hard time for calling Odo Mr. Odo.
Has Mr. Odo finished analyzing the DNA scans?
Mr. Odo? No, not yet. But Odo expects results any time now.
Meanwhile, Odo's paying a little visit to Quark, as he so often does on the show.
Does this thing have a use, or is it merely ornamental?
Does it matter?
Well, if it has a use, I'm going to have to know what it is.
Ornamental.
Then I guess there's no real emergency.
Did I say ornamental? I meant ornamentally useful.
Someone stole something Quark wasn't supposed to have that compromises station security. But now the Scythians are acting up, so Odo sends us to handle them while he talks to Quark.
You'll have to handle that Scythian situation alone, Ambassador. I need to stay here and talk to Quark.
Alright, sounds good. I'll just be moving...
alone, if you don't mind.
Meanwhile, at the airlock...
Harbinger! Coming! Catastrophe!
Calm. Be calm.
Good idea, sir.
Murder!
Oh, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? So we've got about 5 fugitives on the station, and the only other security officer on the station besides Odo has been killed. I'm assuming Odo's trying to keep Quark from soiling himself, so it's up to Bannock to apprehend all the fugitives, which involves following a clicking noise to track them because they're cloaked. And then you phaser them by blindly shooting nothing. Luckily, the DS9 crew does help you by driving them to a handful of spots.
I've driven them down the access tube and secured it.
Secured it?
I welded it shut.
Oh, Miles is gonna love that when he gets back.
Can't have the operations chief sitting around daydreaming when there's work to be done, can we?
Well done, Constable.
Thank the ambassador, Captain. He's a quick shot.
Thanks, Mr. Odo.
It's Odo, just Odo.
Odo and Bannock recover Carrick's devices, a kind of camouflage refracting bracelet. But how is Quark involved exactly? Well, Carrick was going to DS9 with latinum and valuable items. Quark intercepted the message, made a deal with the blue aliens who were just going to steal from Carrick, but the red aliens overheard and, well, look what happened to Carrick. I don't know if I buy Quark being involved in all this. He's more of a swindler than a flat-out thief.
Quark has plenty of reason to feel guilty, but he usually doesn't have to resort to petty theft.
But now Kira's got a new holoprogram to try out. One of the Scythians shows up at the holosuites, though, insisting on showing.
Show!
Show how?
Oh, great. Now you sound just like him. Show how. First, pay. Pay owner. Rule of acquisition number 162. Even in the worst of times, someone turns a profit.
Ooh, new rule of acquisition. Quark agrees to let the Scythian show, and Bannock enters the holosuite with Kira already there. Oh joy, another phaser bank section. However, this isn't Kira's program. This is what the Scythian wanted to show. Basically, how to stop the drones. Strike the Citadel. And the Scythians want to see the drones stop because their home was attacked as well. Well, it's time to jump in a runabout and do this for real. Yeah, the game forces you to do not one, but 2 additional phaser bank sections at this point, and one of them is essentially the Scythian simulation again, only it's harder and you can actually die.
This is gonna be rough.
Kira and Bannock manage to get inside and see a giant warship being produced. The Harbinger, as it were. Your ship gets damaged, Kira crashes the ship and is knocked unconscious and put in stasis, and communications are cut off from the Scythian ship in orbit where Odo is. So, I guess Mr. I'm good at everything Bannock has to do everything by himself again. I mean, he's even capable of rerouting power in the runabout. Just put him in every Starfleet color, why don't you? Now, this is where the game gets stupidly, and I mean stupidly hard. I managed to figure out what I needed to do up to this point without a walkthrough. The dialogue gave me enough direction on where I needed to go. This part, I have no shame in admitting that I heavily relied on a walkthrough because it is ridiculous. Oh, a huge maze where drones shoot to kill on the first try and you have no idea where you're going? And it's over multiple floors? It's like the developers of this game saw the mining moon in the next-gen game on the Genesis and said, hold my Tarkalian tea. To be fair, you can turn the drones off, but that still doesn't help the fact that you have to blindly find your way to the control room and 2 generator rooms to maybe stumble your way to the communications room and then go back to where you entered the maze to get back to the runabout. Who designed this thing?
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I just can't get used to play Odo. Bannock tells Odo that Kira's been injured.
How severe are her injuries? Can you pilot the runabout? Get her out of there?
Bear in mind that Odo's already admitted to loving Kira at this point in the show.
Because I'm in love with you.
So, imagine what he's going through, but trying not to let anyone know because he's Odo. Kira is transported out, but the circuits overload in the runabout, so Bannock is still stuck. Lovely. Well, not much to do than just wander around. Alone.
Ambassador.
Quark? Quark stowed away on the mission, and he's invisible because he has that refracting bracelet. He's following the Ferengi salvage code and claiming the Citadel for himself, which I'm sure the Scythians who view this place as sacred are going to appreciate.
Think of the prophets.
But at least Bannock isn't alone, so he partakes in a little banter with Quark.
Quark, we're on our own here. Just call me Bannock, all right?
Now that I own this factory, you'd like to be on a first-name basis with me.
Own this factory?
Ah, how dare you insinuate I don't own this place?
And makes him stand here and hold this bridge. Running across the bridge and dodging drones, Bannock happens upon a shipbuilding hologram. So naturally, I start to annoy him.
Repeating questions with minor variances in phrasing and syntax is annoying. When your identity is established, this annoyance will be held in memory against you. Warning! You now have an annoyance rating. You are classified as an irritant.
An irritant? What do you mean by that?
You are now classified as a pest.
Eliminated.
Yep. Bannock was killed for being annoying.
Just a little itty-bitty smile, but just let the mouth cry.
Bannock manages to order a ship, and with the help of one of the Scythians, accesses the tactical and command holograms. The shipbuilding hologram seems very afraid of the tactical holograms, so let's go ahead and meet him.
Override control relay.
Intercept override.
Don't move.
He seems nice. The tactical hologram claims that the master control holoprogram has been deteriorating, caused by
an ancillary subroutine controlling the organic waste reclamators.
That's right. Poop.
Why would that destabilize the system?
Do not question my statements!
Bannock agrees to fix the error, but with a much cleaner process than you would think. Now, you know how Captain Kirk would logic a computer to death? Well, we're talking a computer back to health. The command hologram believes the factory destroyed his civilization and is despairing. Bannock contacts the Scythians on board the ship, and the hologram is fixed faster than you can say, "Save me, Chief O'Brien!"
Seer? Master?
Well, you'd have to say it very slowly.
The statement is impossible. The average rate of reproduction for biological units
goes up significantly when you are no longer in a state of perpetual war.
God, Odo, don't do that! You want to get us all killed? Unfortunately, the factory can't be shut down because the tactical hologram took over. I need somebody who can out-weasel the weasel hologram. Quark!
I found some treasure, Quark.
Bannock borrows Quark's refracting bracelet, which also has reflecting capabilities.
You look exactly like me. Quite an improvement.
Now, the holograms are based off actual people. The tactical hologram is based on the appearance of Havoc, a major warlord. So, if I talk to the tactical hologram, he'll think that he's talking to the real Havoc. I'm about to ruin this hologram's day.
This is an error! You have failed to protect the Citadel from the flaws of the Master Control Program.
I have not failed!
You are a flawed and unstable program.
No!
Purge the system. The Warlord commands it.
See you in the recycle bin! Unfortunately, you can't save the command hologram. In order to shut down the factory, the command program needs to shut down everything, including himself, after everybody leaves. Think about it. We pulled this hologram out of despair just to deactivate him. I'm spending this game making holograms cry!
Why should it matter to you if a hologram cries?
With the factory shut down, Bannock, the Scythians, Odo, Kira, and Quark head back to the station. With the arrival of the Defiant, the most badass ship in the quadrant. But of course, the Defiant isn't the only new arrival. The Harbinger has arrived, being commanded by another Havoc hologram.
Present defensive capabilities.
Turn that off.
With one more phaser bank section, which ends up being one of the easier ones in this game, DS9 is saved. The drones are gone, the plasma storm has cleared, and Bannock enrolls in Starfleet. Probably to own Wesley Crusher.
I always get an A.
And that was Star Trek Deep Space Nine Harbinger. As someone who watches DS9 a lot, is this replayable? Not really. I mean, it's not a bad game, and the plot is fine for a standalone DS9 episode. The cast does a good job reprising their roles, and I'm happy to hear their voices rather than sound-alikes. Sure, the graphics and animations are horrendous and have a Play-Doh quality to them, but I almost find them charming in a 90s way. Even the bulk of the gameplay isn't bad, and the first half of the game, while it might require some thought to solve puzzles, is doable. It's the stupidly hard second half of the game that puts me off replaying it. That stupid maze. It's that part that tarnishes an otherwise okay experience. If you're a DS9 fan hungry for more stories, this might be worth checking out maybe once, but otherwise, it's nothing groundbreaking.
Compared to this, the Altonian brain teaser is a simple coloring job.
So what do you think? Have you played DS9 Harbinger? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was the Citadel as frustrating for you as it was for me? And what are some of your favorite Star Trek games? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Woz Reviews. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Why should it matter to you if a hologram cries?